Coming to you from the home of Franklin's finest, this is the APB Podcast. Here now is Franklin Police Public Information Manager, Max Winitz.
It is episode number 5 of the APB Podcast. Hi there, everybody. Thank you, as always, for making us a part of your week. It is great to have you with us. On today's show, a topic that has impacted so many of us, not only here in Franklin, but throughout the entire nation. In fact, every year, millions of Americans fall for scams, whether online or over the phone. No doubt you have received text messages, emails, phone calls, scams, people trying to get your hard-earned money. So what do you do if you encounter a situation like that? How do you know if it's legit versus a scam? Well, we're sitting down with Officer Michael Oliver. He's going to provide some really vital tips and information on how you can prevent yourself from falling victim. That in just a couple of minutes. But first, let's get to the news. The Franklin Police Department rolling out a new public service campaign to help make local roads safer. It's called Give Tailgating a Break. The effort aims to remind drivers about the dangers of following too closely and to encourage safe driving habits that prevent rear-end collisions. As part of the campaign, officers from the department's traffic unit place signs in areas around Franklin known for frequent traffic crashes. The signs serve as a friendly reminder to leave more space between vehicles, something that can make a huge difference in preventing accidents. The department encourages drivers to follow a few easy tips to reduce the risk of rear-end crashes. There's the 3-second rule, leave extra room in poor conditions, watch your speed, and minimize distractions. No doubt we will have an upcoming podcast episode focused on tailgating in the near future. And congratulations to Class 44 of our Citizens Police Academy. The group graduated last Thursday evening after completing weeks of hands-on training and behind-the-scenes learning with our officers. Again, a big congrats to Class 44 of our CPA. When we come back, we are talking scams with Officer Michael Oliver, a very important topic. You're not going to want to miss it. Stay with us.
Are you ready to make a difference in your community? The Franklin Police Department is seeking dedicated, passionate individuals who want to protect and serve in the South's most charming town. As a member of our internationally accredited team, you'll be part of a dynamic, supportive department that values integrity, professionalism, and community engagement. Enjoy competitive benefits, career advancement opportunities, and the chance to truly impact the safety and well-being of our neighbors. For more information, visit franklintn.gov/joinfpd. That's franklintn.gov/joinfpd.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Max Winitz here, being joined today by Master Patrol Officer Michael Oliver, here to talk about scams and fraud, a very problematic issue plaguing really a lot of people in this nation. I think a couple of years ago, more than 2 million people fell victim to different scams. So we're going to talk a little bit about that with you. First off, let's introduce you. Tell me a little bit about your background and how long you've been here with the Franklin Police Department.
So I'm MPO Oliver, Franklin Police Department. Been here for 8 years. I'm a training officer currently. Background, I've done some DUI task force. I've trained. Right now, I'm on a Charlie shift. Before that, I did night shift for 5 years. And prior to that, I was in the military for 9 years as a medic in the Army. And here I am.
Well, thank you for your service. I asked this question to your sergeant, Brandon McClellan, last week, but tell me about that transition for you going from the military into another sort of industry where you're able to serve and protect. He told me it wasn't the easiest transition. Same or opposite for you?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's very difficult. It's a complete way of life to complete different change. So when I came out, I tried finding a job in something kind of similar in the medical field. And I find it was a lot harder than I thought. You know, a lot of those skills don't necessarily translate as well. although I was certified as an EMT, there's additional certifications you have to get depending on your city and state. So it was definitely a transition for sure. And ultimately, I applied here after a few years, and I worked a few jobs here and there, but nothing that's satisfying. And then when I finally got into this job, it just kind of answered that call for service, that camaraderie that you feel from the military. But not a lot of jobs necessarily have that, but I kind of feel that here. So it kind of fills that void from, because sometimes you miss the military.
Sure.
There's a lot of things you don't miss though, but this certainly kind of fills that, and I love being here.
Where are you from originally?
Born in California, but raised in Tennessee. And then my adult life was at Fort Hood, Texas, and then I came back here.
Okay. And what has kept you here for 8 years? What do you like about this community? What do you like about this department that's kept you here for so long?
So the community is great. Community, they're very supportive. I see a lot of things in the news about people, police may get bothered, recorded, or called names or different things and just messed with by different people out there. But here, nothing but warmth mostly. Very welcoming community, very open to working with the police, and rarely do I ever have a bad experience. So the community is great. The agency, I've recently, a couple of years ago, had a bad car crash, and the agency bent over backwards to take care of me. So I feel that if you're in a spot, that the agency will look out for you. The citizens will look out for you. A lot of people came together when that crash happened, and I'm very grateful for both the agency and the city as well.
And we're certainly glad you're okay and here with us today. Full disclosure about this topic, this had been on our radar to do an episode focusing on scams from day one, but you approached me about doing this. You wanted to be the one to sit down with me. So obviously, this is something that is near and dear to your heart because you're seeing this almost, if not every day in our community.
Oh, certainly. Right now, I'm currently trying to promote to detective. So something I frequently encounter on the streets is scams or frauds in various forms. They come in a lot of shapes and sizes. But there's more common ones and there's more elaborate ones. But after seeing that and being here, coming from NICE is a completely different animal. It's a totally different set of crimes and things you'll see, and even citizen encounters you'll see it in the day. So I don't know what it was, but just the different frauds and scams just seem to, as I work them more and more, they're more, I feel like I'm making not necessarily more of a difference per se, but I can kind of connect with it and work those a lot and kind of really piece the puzzle together and hopefully help somebody out. Because people think it's a victimless crime. Criminals out there may say, oh, well, insurance covers this, covers that, but people on the victims on the receiving end of it, that's not the case for them. They're going to be out money for an unknown amount of time. They may not necessarily even get it all back. And they have to go through hoops, jump through all these calls, all these people they got to talk to. Sure. And it's just a hard time for them. So, I mean, of course, the suspects or criminals out there don't see that. And we're out here trying to piece it together for them and hopefully help them get back on track. But that could take days, weeks, even months.
Yeah. I mean, I remember as a news reporter in Florida, in fact, where I was reporting, as far as congressional districts are concerned, it had the most seniors of any congressional district in the U.S. So easy target for scammers. But I remember doing stories, sitting down with senior citizens who lost thousands, tens of thousands of dollars, their life savings. Some of them still thought that it wasn't a scam, that this was all part of a way of getting, lottery earnings or something like that. So for me, it's devastating. You're interacting with these people all the time as well. So how does it hit home for you when you hear that somebody has lost so much money?
So it's especially problematic when if it's an elderly victim or somebody who's not as keen or able to pick up some clues that might be an obvious scam. So, I mean, everybody's got grandma, mom at some point somewhere in their life, family that they care about that could be more victimized by something like that. They may fall for something like that. And sometimes these scammers use some pretty elaborate intimidation tactics too, to make it seem like, oh, you can't reach out for help, or you either won't get the money, you'll get arrested, or some things like that will penalize them for asking for help. I mean, a little bit of research though, a lot of times, especially with this lottery stuff, if you see how the lottery even works, you just go on a website, see how you claim your earnings. Well, 9 times out of 10, the lottery's not going to contact you to tell you won. And 9 times out of 10, I'd say closer to 10 times out of 10, someone that's calling you, asking for your name and your date of birth, that's contacting you proactively, they probably don't need that information. They don't need that information, period. So and some people just think, oh man, it's too good to be true. It probably is. So I hate to see it, especially with more vulnerable communities.
Sure. According to the Federal Trade Commission, $12.5 billion was lost to fraud last year. And over 2 million Americans were impacted by this. So it's happening to a lot of people. Right now, what are you seeing as far as the scams that are really plaguing this community as we speak right now?
A really common one, and I'm pretty sure everybody that watches this has probably got the text message at some point. It's going to be a text message saying you got to pay a toll. You visited someplace, some area, and there's a toll, and you got to pay it for however much it is. So you'll go to the website, and when you go to this website, you'll give your credit card information. You'll give your personal information probably as well. And that once they got that, they got your stuff. And so if they send that message out to millions of people, if even 1,000 respond to it or react to it, and then they could be out tens of thousands or millions of dollars combined between those people. So I'd say the text message one is very common. The other one that I frequently have encountered is someone may get a call claiming to be a government worker of some kind, whether it be a deputy, a police officer, IRS agent, something like that. And they'll say you have a warrant, you owe money, and they commonly will ask for, we can take care of all this for you if you pay us. And Google Play cards, Apple Play cards.
And it's usually in gift cards.
Yes. Absolutely. That should cause more alarm for your average person, you think? Because the U.S. government, while they want a lot of things, they certainly don't want Bitcoin or gift cards. So, no police officer is going to ask you for money, let alone gift cards.
Correct. And yeah, I can't tell you how many times we've put out PSAs on our social media channels saying, look, the Franklin Police Department, nor any other department to our knowledge, asks for money over the phone. So if you get a call or a message from somebody claiming to be from this department or any other one, it's not legit. And what would you advise people to do if they do get a call from somebody claiming to be somebody from this department? I mean, I've heard that people are using names of real officers here in this department claiming to be them. So what do you recommend?
If you get a call like that, and someone claiming to be a police officer, hang up the phone, call your local agency. Call your local agency, have them come out and explain to them the kind of call you got, who they claim to be. And they can help you determine whether or not it's fact or fiction. When someone has a warrant, and which is typically going to be a warrant for your arrest, they're not going to reach out to you and call you. They may knock and come to your house, but they're not going to call you. So if you're getting phone calls like that, just hang up the phone, call your local agency. And if you're getting calls asking for money from, say, the IRS or something, you can also call the police. Call somebody that might be knowledgeable and something like that. Call a friend, a family member. Things like that. So that's an easy way to ascertain whether or not it's fact or fiction, because typically the numbers aren't legitimate numbers. If you try to call back, it's going to be to a disconnected line, or it's going to be some kind of app like a WhatsApp that can spoof numbers, so they can make it seem like it's a real number. But they're not going to ask for your information over the phone like that.
What are some of the other red flags?
You're going to see things. It may even come in the form of like an email. You may get an email like that, or you may get a text message with an email address versus like a phone number. If you look at that, no government agent is going to use a Gmail address. That's another one, or a Hotmail. So those are also, they usually have numbers or some weird symbols in it. Or the website itself, when you go to it, I don't go to it, but if you were to go to it, and you're just that curious or that tempted to follow this rabbit hole, usually it's not a real, like a .gov website. You'll see some sort of hyperlink that doesn't make sense. It has different numbers, different letters, whereas our government website is going to have a .gov.
And I know one of the other scams that has been going on for years now and has unfortunately shown its ugly head here, these real estate scams where scammers will actually go on, Zillow or Redfin, copy and paste the images of the interior and exterior of a home, claiming it's to buy or rent, and then they manage to get people to put a down payment on the rental property, and they come to the victim comes to the house and they find out it's not even for sale or rent. Have you encountered anything like that? I know some of our detectives have, but have you personally over the years?
I think I might have encountered that once or twice. And that, again, that's something I just take a signed initial report on and sign it upstairs to our detectives. But yeah, it's certainly something. If it's another thing too, just do your research. Like if they're sending you this information, you can easily go on a website yourself, a Google search, and do a quick search proactively to try to find that same. And if you can't find it anywhere but through this person's sources, chances are it's too good to be true.
Yeah. And then I think the original scam, I don't know if it's the original, but it seems like it was the scam that got all the attention back in the day, and it's still happening. The emails saying, I'm the king of Nigeria or something. I have an inheritance for you. But we're still seeing that, and people are still falling victim.
That, yes, I seem to remember getting those. I'm 41. I seem to remember getting those 20 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago. So it's another thing that's too good to be true. First you got to ask the question, how did this person even get my contact information? And why would they be reaching out to me? What does this have to do with me? Another one is very similar in that vein. I'm a soldier and I'm here and I need you to send money for supplies or a bus ticket or this. Again, there's other charitable agencies you can reach out to if you want to help the veterans or other families. But typically people don't come to you asking for money. And another thing too, it's Publishers Clearinghouse, another good one. Phone calls, texts, and or emails. And just go to the website, look at how you actually claim that money if you were to win. They typically don't call you and ask you to pay them.
Are most of these scammers still overseas, or are you seeing more and more, here in the U.S.?
That's a great question. So scammers, they come everywhere. They can be local, they can be overseas. Sometimes they are local, and their scam could just be easily something as you're eating dinner with your family. They sit down next to you. I mean, while you're not looking, you might be distracted. Or while you're out shopping, grocery shopping, someone may come and talk to you for a second. Another person could come, reach in your purse, your bag, the cart, grab a wallet and grab some cards, and they're gone before you even realize what happened. And they'll go to somewhere nearby and immediately start trying to spend as much money as they can before those cards get deactivated or shut off because of fraud. So, yeah, I mean, that can happen here. I mean, it can happen. It's most, especially over the phone, likely overseas.
Emails too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, phone, emails, text messages, anything digital is typically probably not in the area, but it'd be fun. You could easily be somebody just distraction, old distraction, say I'm sleight of hand.
So what, in all your with your expertise, as far as victims go, who are scammers targeting?
I'd say a trend that I notice is usually elderly, somebody by themselves, women. I recently just saw one with kids in a football game. They had their bag out by the bleachers, and they snatched the whole bag and left with it. So it's somebody who's usually not paying attention. They're distracted for whatever reason. But typically it's going to be elderly women. And that seems like an easy target to them.
So you've touched on this a little bit already, but what can potential victims, what do people really need to do in order to be proactive and not fall victim to any sort of scam or even any sort of these theft cases in grocery stores, whatnot?
Sure, just be vigilant. Be vigilant and be aware of what's going on around you. If someone comes and approaches you, just know where your things are. It's not a terrible idea to keep your hand on your thing. If someone's approaching you that you don't know, a complete stranger. Because there are people out there who may have legitimately want to have a conversation. There's, nothing wrong with that. But if someone's trying to pull you away from your things, that's kind of a red flag. There's just small red flags like that. If something's making the hair on the back of your neck stand up, trust your instinct. And y'all easily say, hey, no, thank you. I can't talk right now. And you can just go about your business. Likewise, if you're getting phone calls or scams, take a minute to kind of look, or if you're getting a phone call claiming to be police, just hang up the phone. Phone calls like that, and then you just call your local authorities, call a friend, call a family member, And they could usually help you weed through the nonsense and help you realize and see reason that it's too good to be true.
And what can you all do as officers when approached by a victim of a scam? I know it's certainly difficult when it's something that is transpired overseas, but what can the Franklin Police Department do to help?
So, especially when they're overseas, it's unlikely that we're going to be able to catch the people that do that. However, because you are out money, you are the victim of a crime. If you did give money, one of the things we can do is we can do a report for you. We can take a report and collect your information, because as much information we get from you, your officer that's respond will be able to ask you pertinent questions related depending on what you may or may not be out of. At this point, you may take that report with a case number on it if you get one, and you can give it to your financial institution who'll be able to help you in recovering those funds. They have in their own department as well. They'll work with law enforcement and help you and get your money back, because ultimately the big thing is here, we want you to be able to go back to normal. And I know it may seem like you're being violated, but it's certainly, we want to try to get you back in the swing of things as quickly as possible. So as quick as you can, just provide us all the information we need, and then we'll help you get back on track. So just give those case numbers to your financial institutions. It's typically the best thing that we can do for you to help you at least recover that. We may not necessarily, especially overseas, catch those ones. Local ones, there's more of a chance to do that, but overseas is less likely. But we can certainly help you get your money back.
And is there a fraud scam case over your 8 years here that really stands out to you? Something that hit home, impacted you, a case that maybe you solved? Tell me about that, if anything stands out.
Sure. I had it was one of the more elaborate ones. When you break it down, it's real simple, but there was a woman that was eating at a restaurant. She's a regular there. A couple, I watched the video several times, and a couple sat down next to him, and seemingly normal couple, but the bar itself was rather empty. It was midday. So just her and her friend, and this couple sat directly next to him. Yeah, that's another kind of weird. You got an open bar. Why would somebody sit directly next to you?
Right, that's a red flag right there.
Right. So while she's having a conversation, they seem to be legitimately there for a meal or a drink. They order a drink, and I see an opportunity for them to reach over. She had her purse hanging under the bar. Grabbed it. They stuffed it on their shirt, walked out, and immediately went to Macy's and Apple and just started swiping. They got, I think, over $5,000 worth of things before it got shut off. I was able to work with our detectives and ultimately identify and get warrants for the arrest of the individuals involved. And I found out through further investigation that they're actually like almost a semi-organized crime. They travel all over the Eastern Seaboard. They're hitting places all over. I even saw cases from Nashville. I reached out to their detectives and see if we can compare notes. So they are these guys that they may probably make a living doing this. They can just get thousands of dollars every day finding somebody to do that too.
What's it mean to get closure, to help somebody, in this case, this female victim? I mean, I can only imagine her reaction when she learned that you all identified the suspects.
It's exciting for me, at least, because it's anytime you solve a case or something, especially when you put a lot of time into it, it's really satisfying. I guess I can liken it to scoring a goal or a touchdown. You just get that kind of feeling. The victims really get that peace of mind. They're very grateful, very appreciative. Everyone that I've been able to help both, get to recover their funds, and sometimes when we catch the bad guy too, they're always grateful, always thankful, and just really kind of shows you, why we're here doing it. It's really satisfying.
Well, let's hope you score a lot of touchdowns. Is there, I think you provided some great advice. Is there anything else you would like to add to the viewers, the listeners right now, on how to avoid becoming a victim?
Yeah, again, just do your own research. Knowledge is power.
Vigilance is everything.
And vigilance. Oh, absolutely. Vigilance. And if you think, just talk about it. If you think this is going on, this right here is not a secret. Everything we're talking about here is not a secret. Share it. Share the podcast. Somebody you may know, somebody, family member, may fall victim to this, may have fallen victim to this. The more people that know how this stuff works and know that it's too good to be true, the less likely this happen.
All right. Well, Mike, you provided some great insight. Really appreciate your time. Hopefully this will help prevent additional victims. So thank you again. Thank you. And thank you for tuning in to episode 5 of the APB podcast. Don't fall victim to scams, everybody. If you need any help at all, if you think you may be the victim, if you received any sort of sketchy email, phone call, give the Franklin Police Department a shout. Thanks again, everybody, and stay safe. See you next time.